So welcome, ladies. This is our inaugural Money Mastery webinar, and we're really excited to be here to share our passion to empower women to be financially independent and excited about their future. So our promise to you is that you will walk away with the confidence that you have the ability to have a positive impact on your financial freedom with the combination of what you currently have, being knowledge, and what you can learn, that is the skills and mindset, which will give you the results for success. So I'm just going to hand over to Kylie.
Thank you, Sarah. What a beautiful, warm welcome. And it's really lovely to see everyone's faces. Before we get started, I'm just going to make a little agreement, a little pact. And I better just check that I can see the chat as I say this, is that this isn't TV. So the idea is just to encourage you to get comfortable. Have you got a water? So that's always handy, or a cup of tea, or your notes, anything that you need along the way. But really just to, and just in a sense that then we can see what's landing, what's important, or maybe what's not. It'll give us, let us gauge. And then the other thing I want to just ask you is it all right, as we're connecting now, is that we follow up and just check in with you on how this goes? Does that sound good? Beautiful. A couple of thumbs up. And the other thing to note is that there is a little bonus offer at the end. So get excited. So before we get started, I do want to introduce us. So who are we? For those of you who don't know, I'm going to introduce Sarah. So she is a finance broker who's achieved platinum status with Liberty Network Services, and a money coach, an advocate for women in business who want to become more confident in managing their money. Sarah runs the Bounce Back and an online platform with workshops and online courses helping women to become financially independent. Sarah is passionate about tiny home living and would like one day to create an affordable community housing for women over 50. So you can see why we connected, can't you?
And I'd like to introduce to you Kylie. Kylie Jansen is a mindset and empowerment coach who runs her Grow Your Greatness program, which includes both a group mastermind and personalized one-on-one coaching. After her own experience of overcoming burnout, she's passionate to work with women who are stuck in the busy and the stories they tell themselves to help them become more resilient, overcome self-doubt, and build a rock-solid inner confidence that propels them into action as they create a future that they are truly excited about. So I'm going to hand back to Kylie, who's now going to share with you 3 important ways to master your mindset to improve your relationship with money.
Awesome. Now, Sarah, you're cutting in and out a little bit in the sound, but only a little bit.
I think we both are a little bit, and I'm sorry about that. I'm sitting as close to the router as I can be.
All right. Well, I'll just put your hand up if you've missed anything, I think. Yeah, beautiful. All right. So really, this is just to introduce the concept of today. So I ask you, who do you need to be to do what you need to do to have the success? We've got you covered. So today I'm all about the being, the mindset. And then we've got Sarah, who is all about the doing, having the skill set. And with the two of us combined, the idea is that you can have the results and the success that you want. So that's the framework for today. And the reason why, which is again, as Sarah said at the start, is really about empowering women to have the skill set and the mindset to create their own financial freedom. So how does that sound? Yeah. So mindset, mastering our mindset. What is mindset? Today, I'm going to share with you 3 ways, important ways to master your mindset with the intention of improving your relationship with money. So to begin with, I want to get a bit of a gauge on maybe what your money stories are. So if I was to ask you, who here has ever heard the saying, or that concept, if you think back to your childhood and that, do you think I'm made of money? Or we can't afford that? There's stories that are going on in our head that we tell ourselves that really might give you an indication of what your current relationship with money is. So just have a think. Has anyone got any that they'd maybe like to share? Does anything come to mind? Quiet. Now, I can't see the chat at the moment, Sarah. Oh, go for it, Heather.
I think I grew up in that sort of scarcity being. I think because of the generation I was in, my parents grew up in the Depression, and she was very much gauged by her parents. So there was this real scarcity about money.
Awesome.
So especially money doesn't grow on trees. Do you think I'm made of money?
Yeah.
All of those
come to mind
with me. It's the generation.
Yeah, absolutely. So thanks for sharing that, Heather, and you're not alone. Yeah. I'll read a couple of others that I've got. The other one was that I just want to help people. I don't care about the money. I find that very profound with women, the women that I'm coaching. I can either make money or follow my passion or my pursuit, not both. So that kind of draws a line in the sand. And the other one of being told that you be thankful for what you have. So yeah, it's just interesting. The other thing to note is that, so I'm really just raising awareness to the stories that are coming up. We posed a question to you girls, and it was about what was your biggest money challenge? So thank you. We had some beautiful feedback from quite a few people. I've it as an overview because it is something that we want to address. So that concept of the fear of not having enough, that scarcity, which Heather just mentioned. The other one was about feeling stuck, avoiding it, knowing that it's usually a heated conversation, isn't it? That sense of money. What else was it? It's, too hard. I'm not smart enough. I should already know this stuff. So scarcity, procrastinating, avoiding, the critic, that inner voice, that judgment, or that overthinking of just what if, the fear, all that, our past experience. So when we talk about this biggest challenge that some of you posed, I want to ask you, on a scale of 1 to 10, if you think of your biggest money challenge, how confident are you that you can overcome this challenge? And if you wouldn't mind, actually, remember that this is a judgment-free zone, and it's only you comparing you to you. But I would just encourage you to share. So Sarah, maybe just tell me, what are some of the numbers that are coming up?
We've got a couple of 7s and a 4, a 6. What else have we got here? Another 7, a 9, another 9. Oh, we've got some very confident.
Some of you are really confident. That's awesome.
5 to 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Another 6.
So this is just to raise that the conversations around money are often heated. They amplify our differences. They usually involve that sense of stress, whether there's a lack or that tall poppy syndrome of having too much or needing to hide it or hiding our money habits. It is definitely maybe our sense of self-worth or how much we allow ourselves to shine in life and in business. And hence, it's often a topic that we just avoid. So I want to just remind you that money is only a tool. It will take you wherever you wish, but it will not replace you as the driver. So that's what we're focused on today. So knowing that mindset is just our thinking that shape how you make sense of the world and yourself, and it determines how you think, feel, and behave. So imagine what if your mind could actually be working for you? And when I say that, I say, imagine all the things that you would be doing. So what would it look like? What would your life that you'd be living? How would you be improving life for yourself and for others? What would it be that you're creating? What charities would maybe you be supporting? What adventures would you be having? What big problems would you actually be solving if your money was your driver? Just have a think for a moment. So in contrast to that, when you're not taking control, who's driving? Is it that inner voice or that inner critic? So rather than propelling you forward, is it that chatter that's stopping you and making you doubt yourself? Is it that inner critic that's actually taking the wheel? And what would it mean? This place, that sense of where you are now, where nothing changes. So what we're going to do today is actually set that GPS. We're going to step into the driver's seat and manage our mindset so that you know where you're going and you know when you're going to get there. And you have the ability to change your relationship with money. And it means that your past doesn't equal your future. And you have the next clear and rewrite your money story. So to go from surviving to actually thriving, how would that feel? Where you're empowered and excited about your future. I'm like, yay! All right, so 3 simple steps to master your mindset. So 1 is to create, the second one is to choose, and the third one is to commit. Step 1, to create awareness about your current money beliefs. So we had a little conversation and Heather shared hers. So I ask you, if you do have a notepad and paper, I'm just going to ask you a couple of questions so that you can have an understanding of this. So what are we creating? So 1 is we want to uncover and expose any limiting beliefs and obstacles. What's stopping us? So we'd start with there's different stages of our beliefs. From 0 to 7 were our imprint years. It's actually where they were formed. From 7 to 14 is our modelling years. That's where we looked around and we were either rewarded or not for certain beliefs. From 14 to 21 is our social years. For those of you with those kind of teenage years, I can speak from experience. That's when, as parents, we don't have the influence that we used to influence us. And from 21 onwards, it's really our career that determines our beliefs. Now, if our beliefs are our drivers, I want to ask you, if you think back to those 0 to 7 years, and who it usually is a parent figure, whether it's a mother or a father or a significant other or a role model, what was their money beliefs? And then what was their belief? And just have a little think. in this moment. And for women, for young girls, it's usually a male father figure that has a really strong influence, as in general. Obviously, our mothers do as well. But that usually, from a girl's perspective. The other question I would ask you, so now coming back to your own beliefs and creating awareness about them, what is your current belief about success? And is that in contrast or the same as that significant other in your early imprint years? And what I ask you is that, what does this mean? Isn't this interesting? Are you looking through a lens that maybe isn't yours, that it has been influenced and created external to you? Stop or propel you. So with this new awareness of what's been passed down to you unconsciously, because I chose not to define it, what are the stories you're telling yourself, and what is this showing you? So the idea is that we're creating awareness about our current beliefs, shining a light on maybe what we hadn't considered before. What do you need to let go of in your money story to make space for the new? And I'm going to repeat that. So what do you need to let go of in your money story to make space for the new? And you might want to write it in the chat if you feel comfortable too. Things that come up for me is that scarcity mentality of there never being enough. That judgment that, am I good enough to be worth this amount of money? Or I've never managed it before. Why would I do it now? How can I change that? So with this part of the discussion, it's really about that letting go activity, and to plant a seed for later is that this is what I will include in our seeds for the power of letting go. So I ask you, has anyone got any questions about creating awareness on old money beliefs with the curiosity and compassion to create new?
There's a couple of comments in the chat.
Thanks.
Tony says, what makes me think I deserve it?
Yeah.
And Nicole says, shame for what I have to show for my money, given I earn a decent salary. And Anita says, feeling like I'm not moving forward.
Yeah. So there's that sense of pressure on ourselves, isn't it? And that judgment, that inner voice. So at this point, we're just creating awareness. So thanks for those beautiful shares. It's really lovely and insightful for all of us, even to see that we're not alone in this journey. Yeah. So number 2, step 2, is it all right if we move on to 2? All right, so it's about choosing to embrace new empowering beliefs. So this means that you're in the driver's seat, that you're in charge of your mind and your results. So you are what you think. So you actually get to choose. You've got options, and they can either be resourceful or unresourceful. So I ask you, how are you create new and empowering beliefs? That's what we're going to do now. So again, from a questioning point of view, I'm just going to say to you, the idea of new beliefs is that give yourself permission to challenge your brain in what you're allowed to be. So remember, this is all about the being. So who do you need to be? Who do you need to become? And what do you to give yourself better options so that you can be your most compelling self? And I know, Alicia, we've had a good conversation about being our most compelling self, haven't we? So I'll give you a little example, and this is basically reframing your old beliefs that weren't serving you. The old belief might have been that I'm not good with money. Someone talked about, what I've got to show for it. So my new belief does not equal my future. Or does that give you a little bit of insight? So the other one might be that I don't know where to start. There's that sense of overwhelm. I've put it off for so long. So my new belief might be, what I don't know, I can learn, or I can ask for help. So there's that sense of empowering and opening us up to being the driver. So the difference, you can hear the difference in the weight of the language, guilt and this pressure. What I don't know, I can learn, and I can ask for help. It gives me an openness. So definitely mindset there is a sense of it feeling, a really strong feeling. The other thing is about my old belief might have been fear of failure, of what if I do it wrong? What if? The other idea would be is to see failure as feedback of what I can do better, what I could do differently, and what I could change. This was an awesome one, is this is what a wealthy woman looks like, and actually be looking at yourself in the mirror. So that's that sense of empowering and giving yourself permission. All right. So if you do have any new beliefs that maybe you want to confirm, I would definitely put them in the chat. And it's a way of, I literally have them on Post-it notes. They're up and around and they're in my face. So this is what a wealthy financial health, and I'll look in the mirror. All right. So make it a bit of fun, The other thing to note that this is really about the mindset reset. It is a whole beautiful activity and exercise about confirming and affirming new empowering beliefs. So this just gives you a little insight. So has anyone got any questions about choosing to embrace new? You're all good? We go on to step 3. All right, so step 3 was about committing. So commit to be your most compelling self. And I love this picture because that's the idea. Sometimes it's an element of being brave or courageous. Yeah. So when I commit to myself, it's the difference between wishing and hoping to deciding and choosing. To choose, it's going to be different, that I'm going to be different, and then I'm going to take action and impact. Here's a decision. When you're committed, it feels good. It affirms your new beliefs that you've just created, and it's the difference between being the inner critic, listening to the inner critic, to actually being my own, I say BFF, because I've got a daughter who's 13. It's all about BFFs. So being my biggest champion and my cheerleader for myself. So there's a saying of how you do anything is how you do everything. It's her. So I ask you, is that when it comes to being a smart, savvy businesswoman, managing her money, who am I being? Who do I need to become? And a focus on being, not doing in this stage, because that will be my driver. And if I'm not sure, then I would actually even ask you, who is a person who already has the results that I want? How are they showing? Might come to mind to give you a little bit of ideas. It's about values and characteristics and traits. So if I'm committed, what else am I? I'm committed to learning and growing. Am I being courageous rather than maybe feeling confident? Am I being accountable? Am I future focused? Am I doing what I to my own self-leadership? Am I willing? Am I prioritizing? So what kind of words come up for you? Maybe just pop them in the chat. The other one is about being flexible and adaptable and kind. So when I'm committed to being, it's the I am statements that we're. How does that sound? So as a little overview, and I'm conscious of time, Sarah, we're looking pretty good, is that just to know that when you master your mindset, these 3 steps are a little check-in to create awareness, to choose my new beliefs, and actually to commit to myself. What did you notice, learn about this little session? Was there anything like a little key takeaway that you maybe would like to share? You're all good and you're all quiet. That must mean you're thinking.
Tony says, my dad's memory.
Yeah, yeah. And they, absolutely.
And Mai says, mindset is the first thing. Oops, sorry, it just jumped away from me. Mai says, Tony says, if you haven't got it in your pocket, it doesn't belong to you. Mai says, mindset is the first thing I need to work on. Trish says that I'm responsible for my outcomes. Heather, I have the power to change my circumstances. Mandy, learnt the stories that I grew up with about money. And Alicia says, yes, Trish, self-accountability. Yeah. Well, thanks for those shares. It's really nice to hear. It's just interesting to hear, isn't it? We all have our own little takeaway. Yeah. So as a little recap, I do just want to say, if you create conscious awareness around how your money beliefs were formed, then you are now able to choose to embrace new empowering beliefs to becoming your most compelling self. It means that you are in the driver's seat and you are impacting your results and creating your own success, which makes you excited about actually what your future can hold. And in saying that, is that knowing that you're now embracing those new empowering beliefs, I'm going to pass you over to Sarah, who is going to give you her 7 tips to improve your financial health, to have the success and the results that you want. So let's welcome Sarah. I'll just stop sharing my screen. There you go. It's all yours. Thank you so much. That was just, amazing. I think we're all really guilty of women. Women are just guilty of, whoops, I've gone too far there. Really guilty of living out the words and the expressions that people have put upon us throughout our whole lives. And I suppose, my one thing that I always felt growing up was that my brother was more important than us 3 girls, because my dad always had the conversations with him rather than us with his daughters. So interesting.
Yeah.
So Yeah, I'll move along. So, as you know, I am a finance broker and money coach, and I just have no idea what I'm doing here. There we go. Let's go back to that one. And just for those who don't know me, I'll just there we go. Stop there. Who am I? Well, I have 2 dogs, 3 cats, 3 fish, 4 children, and 3 ex-husbands. I also run 3 businesses, and I'm a mortgage broker and money coach, passionate about helping people buy their first, second, or forever home, and teaching in particular women how to be more confident in managing their money so that they can be financially free in retirement. So did you know that women earn on average 14.6% less than men, and that women have an average of 52.8% less superannuation at retirement than men? Women, single women over 60, are the lowest income earners in Australia, earning an average of $30,000 a year. And homelessness in Australia has increased 13.7% in the last 5 years, with 42% being female, and a 28% increase in Australia of women aged over 55 becoming homeless. Frightening statistics. 81% of single parent families are women, and 2/3 of primary carers are women. Now, probably a lot of those statistics are not news to you at all, but it's what drives me to try and help change our situation. And, you know, working with Kylie is one of those great steps forward, because it's not just about learning the skills to manage money, it's about believing that you can. So for me, it's really important about knowing your numbers. And so just for a little bit of fun here, I'm going to share you my 7 tips to improve your financial health. So when you want to lose weight, you might stop eating chocolate, pastries, take up an exercise regime. And the trick is sticking to it, isn't it? You know, we've all done those diets I've done them. I've done about 3 this year, where I've gone and done a 3-week cleanse and lost 5 kilos in 3 weeks, and then gone back to eating the same way I did before and put it all back on, and some. So what about making changes to your behavior when it comes to your financial self? It's no different than having a change in mindset. It's also about having a change in behavior, and then taking that skill set and working with it. So the first tip I'm going to share with you is, in conjunction with mindset and what Kylie's been talking to you about, is to change the way you think. So our perception of money and managing money can be that you are denying yourself of luxuries. If you actually reframe your thinking to that, instead of using terminology like budget, which everyone hates the word budget because immediately you feel constricted and restricted and denying yourself. So take that word out of your language and use conscious spending. I am consciously choosing to buy that, or I'm consciously choosing to spend my money differently. Instead of saying I'm spending 80% of my income, say I'm saving 20%. And think about the names that you use on your bank accounts. Now, the Barefoot Investor is brilliant at this. We have accounts like Daily Expenses, Splurge, Smile for our savings, and Fire Extinguisher for those emergencies. And it's interesting, as a mortgage broker, how many people come to me with their bank accounts named all of those, and we immediately have a connection because I know they're barefooters. It's a little bit of fun and opening in conversation too. My next tip is to set goals. Set dates that you would achieve certain savings goals. You maybe use your birth date. My birth date's the 1st of the 1st. So, even though I don't like to set New Year's resolutions, it's a good chance to set new goals for the year. Or the first day of the week, or the 1st of the month, to start your improved financial habits. It will stick in your mind as being the day or the date you decided to have a clean slate. And it will also, if you set small goals along the way, it'll give you incentives to move forward. Number 3 is to automate your finances. And what I mean by that is to automatically set up your bill payments so that you don't have to rely on your willpower and memory. So lock away your savings so that it's harder to access, and set it up so when your bill comes in, put it straight into your payment planner. Set up an account just for your bills and put some money into that account each week so that when the bill becomes due, it's not a terrible surprise and you're not going to have to scramble to try and find the money and your whole week's pay goes on that because you haven't budgeted or consciously saved or spent it. The next one is to track your spending. This is one of my favorites because I love keeping track of what I'm spending my money on. And don't get me wrong, I'm not a terrific saver. I can save. I do like to spend money. I have actually just culled my wardrobe of shoes because I'm known in my family as the Imelda Marcos of the household, and my sisters were quite horrified to think that I had 10 different black pairs of shoes when they both only own one pair of black shoes. And so I decided, after watching the Netflix show on minimalism a few weeks ago when I had COVID and I was watching everything under the sun, that I would follow one of their suggestions, which was every day get rid of something. So on the first day you get rid of one item, and the second day you get rid of two, and so on and so on. So over the period of the first 7 to 10 days, I have got rid of 32 pairs of shoes, and I now only have 36 pairs left. So I think I've done quite well there, and obviously don't need that many pairs of shoes. So, you know, using a spending tracker and using being able to monitor what you spend your money on will actually allow you to know your numbers and know what you're spending things on. And when I get to another tip a little bit later, you'll see how I need to incorporate some of these things into my spending habits, because clearly shoes are one of those things that I don't have to have or need to have, but I want to have. So I'm having to learn to change my mindset over that sort of spending. But there's some fantastic spending trackers on the apps on your phones, or you can just simply for a month write down everything you spend your money on so that you can get a perception as to what you are spending it on. So you might find that you're spending way too much money on takeaway coffees, and you could save $5 here or $5 there. It's a really interesting exercise.
Heather's asking how many. She
Sorry,
wants to check what's acceptable. What's acceptable?
As far as shoes go?
Yes, yeah.
Well, if you'd asked me, oh goodness, I'm mucking up my slides. If you'd asked me before I did the minimalising, I would have said there's no acceptable limit. You can have as many pairs as you like. But I did realise when I was cleaning it all out that I was holding on shoes just because I'd bought them, and I actually had 4 pairs of green shoes. Can you believe that? And I don't really wear that much green.
Or memories attached to the shoe.
And memories attached to them. And I just realised that if I was going to eventually downsize my living, I could not possibly take 64 pairs of shoes with me. So I've just started to work through, and I had shoes that had a heel like this on them. And I don't wear heels anymore. So, I'm never going to put them on again. So why keep them?
They're the ones I get rid of.
Yeah, exactly. So
I hear you.
So that brings me to the most important tip that I should follow is the 30-day rule. Do I need it or do I want it? So when you go shopping, if you find something that you really want, wait 30 days and then see if you still feel the same way or if it was just an emotional or impulse buy. So I think for me, I do a lot of impulsive buying and a lot of emotional buying. And I don't go to the shop so often anymore, and I try and keep away from shoe shops because clearly that's my weakness. But, that whole controlling of your mindset or changing your mindset is really important. And I think the 30-day rule is a really good one to follow. Number 6, debt. We all hate that word debt. We all hate being in it. And I'm just blown away that in Australia, there are 13 million, more than 13 million credit cards in circulation with a national debt of 19.7 billion. So the bad debt clearly is credit cards, hire purchase, afterpay, all those things that have a revolving credit so that you can pay it off and then you can spend it again, pay it off, spend it again. Good debt is things like mortgages, investment properties, shares, even a personal loan to a point, because it has a time limit and you don't then re-spend the money. So pay off your bad debt, get rid of it, and learn to live within your means. And my final share for today is take a look at your subscriptions. How many times have you impulsively bought a subscription on your iPhone or your Android phone, like the Calm app, because you want to do some meditation, and you do it for a couple of months and you've signed up for a year, and then the year comes to an end and it automatically renews and there's another $75 gone. Or Netflix, you want to watch something on one of the other streaming services, so you sign up and then you forget to cancel it after the month. If you actually sat down and had a look at all those subscriptions that you've got, you might find that you can save some money or share them amongst other family members. So, for example, my daughter, who doesn't live at home anymore, has Stan. So if I want to watch Stan, I can log on and use hers. I'm sure that's not the way it was intended, but that's the way most of us manage things. And, I have a Prime membership, so we get access to Prime. We don't have Foxtel or Binge, but yeah, definitely take a look at all your subscriptions and see what you still use, what you don't use. Look at those automatic payments that come out of your bank account. So where to from here? The three most important things in life are definitely self, health, and wealth, which equates to your sense of well-being. And the difference between surviving and really thriving is having the mindset and the skill set, combining it to do something with it. So what could you do from here? You can go away having listened to what we have to say and do nothing. Maybe everything that you do is working beautifully for you too, and we would never, never have anything bad to say about that. But you could also apply what you've learned, or you could get some support. And Kylie and I have decided that we're going to run a combined workshop over 2 weeks for 3 hours each session. And Kylie's going to be talking about changing your relationship with money and understanding why and how you do certain things, reframing your experiences and beliefs around money. And my session is a Know Your Numbers practical workshop to gain control and confidence in managing your money. Kylie's going to put that link up in the chat if you're interested in signing up for it. We'd love to have you on board. We're just really passionate about working with women and helping them change their financial future. And if you require individual support, please reach out to either of us independently. But we've loved being here today, and I'm just going to hand back to Kylie. You want to put your next bit up?
Yeah, beautiful. Oh, Sarah, thank you. Those tips were like really practical, like just a kind of reflect. Absolutely what I need to focus on. So thanks for that. And I think you'll have to stop sharing your screen.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
There you go. Sorry.
All good. Yeah, no, really, it made me think. It was like, yeah, getting to know my numbers. Don't be afraid of them. So,
I just see that Tony's put in the chat, shoes are one area I will not cut back on. Yeah, but that's because you run a shoe business.
Absolutely. Yeah. So that was, really insightful. And from a practical level of getting the where am I focusing on? So just to wrap us up, we are going to have a little Q&A session in a moment. And obviously Sarah's invited you to our next event, which is really exciting for both of us. But just a reminder that when you've got the mindset and the skill set to create the life that you want and the results that you want, what does that mean for you? So building your mindset, your skill set equals the results that you can have. It actually means there's a sense of abundance and that you can give more. So that's the end result of all of this, of putting it all together. So remember your biggest money challenge, and you rated yourself. After we've had this discussion, I just want to ask you again, how confident are you that you can overcome this challenge? So pop your numbers in the chat. And if you want to, just have a think about what that would mean. And maybe I'm not as confident as I'd like to be. So therefore, how can I reach out for support? How can I set some standards? How can I actually help my mindset that'll get me into action in doing and knowing my numbers? So that's just a little way to kind of come back to where you can review back where you were to where you are now. And really just a massive thank you. We've done a beautiful kept to time, haven't we, Sarah? I'm rapt about that. And I'm going to stop. I keep losing my mouse. Give me a second. There we go. And just knowing that we've got you all here, for those of you who haven't got your cameras on, if you want to put them on, I'm going to do a quick snapshot. But also just a Q&A. Do you want to bring, I've got a couple of little, I've got some numbers there. They're all looking pretty good, you girls. Has anyone got any questions that maybe they'd like to ask? You're all sitting here very politely. So what was your key takeaway, I guess? Is anything what did you notice? Go for it. I'd love to hear.
First of all, thank you, Kylie and Sarah, for great information that you shared today. I find it very useful. Like I said, for me, the takeaway from this is that it's all about my mindset that I need to work on. I noticed that I got that limiting belief around making money is from my parents who kept saying that if you wish to have this and that, you need to work hard in order to earn money. Yeah. That's from my childhood start. What I wanted to also add on what Sarah just shared in one of your tips at the beginning, you say we need to reframe our mindset. And I think the habit, we need to change our habit in a way. Normally we think that, okay, if we need to invest money here, say for example, $500, we just see that in front of us, but not taking into consideration all the opportunity costs. If we spend more time on us, what will cost us more? So this is something very invisible that we often forget to take into consideration. And I think that is one of the important points from financial perspective that we need to take into consideration. The procrastination will cost us more to some extent.
And what will it cost me if I don't get my finances under control? Yeah, absolutely, my beautiful share. Thank you so much. Yeah, and you're not alone in the sense of having those earlier voices and associating money with hard work and that sense of burnout and, oh, do I want to go there? So yeah, reach out if you need support for sure. Does anyone else have any questions or anything they'd like to share? Any mic drops? You know, when you have a moment and you go, oh, is that what I need to do? All good.
Quiet bunch.
Question. Is there any? Yeah, beautiful. So really just a massive thank you for being here and supporting us in a sense, because this is a first for us. And it just, you know, there's a beautiful energy exchange when you know that you're in flow and you're hanging out with the right people. And that's how I feel about Sarah. So thanks. Yeah, it really is. Yeah.
And it's just lovely to be around women, women who want to do something to change the way they think and believe. And I think we're also open to learning and growing. That it's just lovely. So I wish you all a wonderful day. Keep warm. I see Anita's just put something in there. My takeaway is I've been working with Kylie on self-coaching for life and work, and this is the next topic for me to get sorted. This is doable. Absolutely. Well done, Anita.
Yeah.
And yeah, absolutely, Nicole. It's, we've spoken about shame before. It's we just have to embrace who we are and not be worrying what other people think about us and the things that we've done in our lives, and just be proud of who we are and move forward. Absolutely.
Yeah. And Nicole, there is that sense of just self-acceptance, isn't there? Like, this is me. Yeah. For all my, amazingness and all my flaws. Yeah. Show up as you. You're unique.
So if no one's got any question, we'll wrap it up and go and enjoy the rest of your day and catch up with you all another time.
Yep.
Bye, ladies.
This is where we sing that ABBA song, Sarah.
Oh, hang on, let me put it on. Hang on, if I can find it again.
That's our next step, is our sound. Heather knows the song, I reckon.
Yeah.
See you then. Bye-bye.